Yo, what's going on, family? Welcome to Everything OG. It's your boy Deviant the Digger, Mr. Everything OG.
It's me, the Big Double, building block.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir. We done ran through a couple episodes already. We appreciate everybody that's been subscribing and watching on. You know what I mean?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This time we're gonna do a special edition for y'all on soundtracks.
My favorite.
Yes. Soundtracks is so cool because they went along with the movie. They would commission like a very popular composer or a producer or, you know, a singer-songwriter, whatever the case may be back then. So it was Curtis, Bobby, Roy, Stevie, James.
I don't know. Stevie didn't do a soundtrack.
Stevie didn't do a soundtrack? I thought
he did the talking.
Yes, he did. He did
the Talking Life of Plants or the Secret Life of Plants.
Well, he did do a soundtrack. It's just that it was later on in the 80s. He did
Woman in Red.
The Woman in Red.
Don't count, man.
I just go and say I Love You, one of the biggest records ever made.
It was cool, but it ain't messing with no Superfly.
Of course not. But
are you putting that on at the barbecue?
No. I'm
you
just saying
spades to that. As you can see, man, there's so many soundtracks, man. We're trying to put together our top 5. This is gonna be an expanded edition because we couldn't limit it to just 5. You know, we tried to get it down to 7. Might be 8 or 9. Whatever number we come out with, just enjoy the ride and take notes.
Mr. B-Dub, what's your first soundtrack that you got?
For my first soundtrack, I'm a blessed with Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
By Melvin Van Peebles. Starring a young, and I don't know if they were heard before, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And we'll hit the back cover for you, too.
Yes.
Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. This movie was revolutionary in the 70s.
Yeah, what?
I think it might have set off the blaxploitation cycle.
That's what they say.
Definitely, if you're a hip-hop fan of the 90s and you get this soundtrack, you will hear some recognizable snippets. I won't snitch and say who, but do your homework, take a good listen, and you will hear some memorable parts. Like, oh, that's where they got that from. The movie was crazy. The movie was about a young black dude who was a stud, and he grew up performing sexual acts,
basically,
and
in front of people.
And he was known for having a sweet back since he turned all the ladies out. And I forgot, he witnessed a murder or he got caught up in some kind of drama.
Yeah, and
the police tried to frame him.
And he was on the run the whole movie.
Yeah, the whole movie he was running.
This is my first pick. My movie soundtrack is this.
Purple Rain.
Prince, Purple Rain. And I love this soundtrack so much. I grew up, the memories of when I was a kid growing up back in 84, 85 with Prince. And he was doing much damage with this album. And this album was such an amazing body of work. And,
my mother and father took us to see that movie.
Yeah?
Yeah. Remember that, Mom? Purple Rain? We sat in the front, y'all sat in the back. I remember.
As long as you do.
Yeah. I just remember when we first opened up, you had the Prince with the little lighting, dark lighting, and then you said, Julia Beloved.
That was the ill version, Let's Go Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? The extended version.
Yeah.
And then from there on, I was like, oh, this is going to be a bomb.
Purple Rain was a hard album because he just came off of 1999.
Yeah, which was dope, too.
You know, that was on the turntable constantly. That, and then Thriller came off. So you had 1999, Purple Rain.
This was the most strategic way that Prince could compete with Mike. Like you said, Thriller was just killing the game, period. I mean, almost 25 million sold back then?
Yeah.
And the only way Prince could come out was to come out with not only a dope album, but he came out with a soundtrack to a movie that he was in. That was a smart move.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the songs in this album. It's in the top 5 of all time soundtracks, Purple Rain, Prince.
Rest in purple.
What's up with you next up, Mr. B-Dub?
We're going to go to the horror section.
Uh-oh, horror.
We're going to hit him with the Black Vampire.
Woo!
Blackula. Gene Page.
Wow.
Hit him with the little back look. Bam. The Black Vampire.
Yep. I remember this record, and this movie was crazy, too.
I think they had two versions or a sequel.
I think I had a sequel.
Blackula Scream or Die Blackula or something.
Die Blackula, yeah.
You know, he was
dope soundtrack. He
was kind of corny looking as a vampire with the widow's peak and the afro. I mean, it was the blaxploitation. The budgets weren't that good, so.
Dope soundtrack.
Got
a little KRS-One sample in there too, if I'm not mistaken.
I was just gonna say, do your homework.
Why you say what song?
No.
Next, actually, it's a movie I haven't seen, but the soundtrack, I picked this up at a thrift store or something a long time ago, and I've been in love with it ever since. Turk's Fruit.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, Roger Van Otterloo is the person who made this, and it's a really dope soundtrack. The music on here is incredible. It's a lot of Fender Rhodes, a lot of smooth. I mean, for samples, especially for sample one too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Fender Rhodes, a lot of smooth cuts, and it's a record out of Holland. It's a really smooth listen, really laid back. And like I said, I haven't seen the movie. Maybe
I've never heard of that movie or
Yeah,
soundtrack.
you know what I'm saying?
That's new on my radar.
Yeah, but it's a dope soundtrack, and once again, Turk's Fruit, dope record. I definitely recommend you pick it up if you see it.
This next soundtrack
Mm-hmm.
will put trademarks around your eye.
Oh no!
The Education of Sonny Carson.
Woo!
Front and back.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this movie for the first time in New York. And I actually after I saw the movie, we met the actor that played Sonny Carson as a grown man walking down Broadway one day.
What?
And we had just saw the movie and met him the next day, and he told us about it and everything.
What a coinky dink.
But
That's dope.
this one, man, and again, do your homework on this.
Your whole style is chump.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta take him out of here. There's so many quotables in the movie.
You know what I'm
That,
saying?
you know, and
You know
you know
what
the
I'm
soundtrack is kind of jazz influenced. Leon Ware's on here.
And I'm a big
It has a
fan,
nice
too.
little jazzy type of sound to it. See the movie first if you can, then get the soundtrack. But definitely want to put on your radar if you're not up on it.
Dope.
Education of Sonny Carson.
Next up for me is this right here. Bam. Right On by the Last Poets. And it says the original Last Poets because the crazy thing about this is that these three guys in this from this album, David Nelson, Felipe Luciano, and Galen Kane, they weren't on any other Last Poets albums.
No?
No. So anytime you get any other Last Poets album like Chastisement or This Is Madness or the one that came on Douglas, it's three other dudes.
Oh.
Three different dudes. You know what I'm saying? So these dudes never came back.
Oh. They just carried on the name with another.
Yeah. So
like
I don't know.
Menudo.
Yeah, I don't know who got the rights to the name, but they hired 3 or 4 other dudes that they weren't this dude. But anyway, this was a movie that came out back in the early 70s, and it's very hard to find. The movie is just as rare as this record. Or actually rarer. Someone actually recently just posted it on YouTube. So it's a real grainy copy though. If you can bear with that, I recommend you go to YouTube and check this out. I was a young kid, like 16, and I just started getting into digging. And this cat owned a record store by my house that was all Jamaican like reggae record store. And he's like, I got the album. I was like, what? He's like, I got the album in my personal collection. I was just like, oh, what's up? You want to sell it to me? He's like, nah, I ain't gonna sell it to you, man. I bugged him for like 6 months to tell me that record. And he finally gave me. He's like, all right, I'm gonna sell it to you, man. This was the first record I ever bought. That was a lot of money. I believe he charged me like $50 back then. At 16 years old, it was a lot of money.
Yeah. It's like what, $200?
Yeah, man. And I had a small part-time job at 16 working at Domino's Pizza. So I saved, my little Domino's Pizza money, and I went back to him. Shout out to Courtney from Culture B Records. This is my original copy. I have several copies of this now, but this is my original copy I got from him back then. And it's also got some really dope samples in here that you might recognize. The hip hop is definitely utilized. Too Short, Dr. Dre, some stuff on here. So just go ahead and check it out. Last Poet is right on my favorite soundtracks of all time.
Are you familiar with Sesame Street?
Very.
Remember the brother Gordon from there?
Yeah.
Well, before his days as a Sesame Street alumni, he was Mr. Willie Dynamite.
Oh, wow. The pimp.
7 fingers and 7 women in the palm of his hand.
Wow.
Willie D. And this was composed by J.J. Johnson. And as far as movie soundtracks go, you can't find one better than this. So soulful. I want to say Superfly, the Mac, Willie Dynamite's up there with that.
Yeah, I would say that.
I was first, hip to this record from the Ghetto Boys, Willie D solo album. Because his name
You
was
listened
Willie
to Willie
D.
D first album?
Yeah.
Oh,
I still have it on cassette, son.
Wow.
Read these Nikes.
I didn't listen to
Bald headed
anything.
hoe. The Ghetto Boys, that
No,
first
I
one.
love Ghetto Boys, but
Before
I
they
never,
was on
listened, I never listened to Willie D solo though.
Before they was on Deaf America, yo, you can't listen you gotta listen to Willie D because that's like part 2 of the Ghetto Boys. The beats was banging. He had ill samples.
Yeah.
And he had that unmistakable Willie D cadence.
Wow.
You know, pronunciation. That was the whole draw of Willie D. He said the most regular stuff, but the way he said it sounded so crazy that you just had to get with it. But
so why you like this album so much?
Because it's so soulful. One of my favorite breaks is on this record. Do Your Homework. Martha Reeves is on here from Motown fame. She's singing. She's the vocal on here. Keep On Moving On. That's the choice cut from here.
Mm-hmm.
And Willie Chase and Willie D.
Mm-hmm.
The title track.
Dope.
But get this.
This album right here is the Japanese version of Hair. And I think it's probably one of the best, if not the best version of Hair that ever came out. Thinkers out there that really, are into breaks and samples, they'll probably already know. They cleared it. That Large Professor used the bass line from Halftime is on here for Nas. So album mention for me, Hair, the Japanese version of Hair.
I have Sheba Baby. Pam Grier.
Mm-hmm.
This soundtrack is by Monk Higgins and it's starring Barbara Mason on it. Do Your Homework.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely some joints on here, but a standout cut on here is Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
A Good Man Is Gone. You see it, grab it.
I'm gonna do some Pam Grier right now.
Okay, what you got? Coffee.
The Coffee soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that the reissue?
This is the Japanese pressing. I have the OG American issue.
Okay.
So don't try to play me. This
Everything
is everything OG, boy. Don't try to play me. This is just the one I brought out the house. but Roy Ayers did this soundtrack, and I think it's some of Roy Ayers' best work, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I mean, all the early Roy Ayers stuff on Poly was amazing, but this is right in tune with that. And Coffee is the color. The first song on the album is amazing, and there's so many other good songs on this album. Coffee Baby, Priscilla's Theme, another dope track. King is Dead. I mean, this album is a banger.
That movie, for one, though, is a great movie.
Great movie. Well, they score with this one because Pam looking incredible on the cover right there. The movie was amazing, and the soundtrack that Roy came with on this was incredible. If you don't have a copy of this, I recommend you get it. Coffee.
Charles Bronson, Death Wish,
Mm.
by Herbie Hancock.
Woo!
This movie was crazy.
Mm-mm.
It was about a vigilante. I think his family got assaulted or something, and he was seeking revenge against the people that did it.
Yeah, Charles Bronson.
So, I got this from Secondhand Tunes in Chicago, which is no longer there, but you still see the Secondhand Tune price tag on it. Shout out to Secondhand Tunes and all my Chicago natives.
How was Herbie's production and composing on this album?
Dope. I sampled some stuff off of here. But there's so much stuff to use. I mean, Herbie is good with the piano and keyboards and with the different textures and space and the eeriness. If you're you like to make drama music or drama samples, this is a perfect instrument to grab some tunes from.
Yeah. Bam! The Gator soundtrack. And woo, this album is incredible, especially if you sample it.
Yeah. Who's the main musician of it?
I got Charles Bernstein did this record, and I wasn't really familiar with him at first in terms of him being the composer, but I don't know how, but he got funky. This album got really funky. This is an old Burt Reynolds movie with Lauren Bacall. Lauren Hutton. Excuse me about that. Lauren Hutton. And just a good listen regardless, though. The cut on here, Laying the Trap. That's a banger. I would recommend you go to your local record store that you shop at, your used record store, go to the soundtrack section. Most likely, they might have a copy of this in there. This is going to probably be in there. Gator. Dope record. What you got?
For my last one, I'm going to go with the Mac. Willie Hutch.
Willie Hutch.
My man Goldie.
Mm-hmm.
I first saw this movie, my man Marvin had it. and we watched it in high school.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it's up there. I think I just showed my girl it maybe a couple years ago, and she liked the movie.
Really?
I said, what is that?
She likes the movies about pimps?
That means anybody can get got by
Yeah.
You get a smooth talking brother. Anyone's susceptible. She really liked Pretty Tony. I don't know, I have to watch her. You know, but there's so many lines, you know, out the movie. You know, next time, shut the fuck up when grown folks is talking.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, but
we can handle some gentlemen. Oh, we can get into some gangster shit.
You know,
many samples like you from hip hop have just murdered and choked.
You know,
this album. You know what I mean?
But it starred Max Julian as the Mac. He played Goldie, and he had got out of jail for like armed robbery and wanted to get on his feet. So he got with an older pimp. He taught him the game, and he took off running.
Dope.
And then, you know, he had to worry about dealing with the man. You know, there was always the man as a criminal. But one thing about soundtracks, though, there's a lot of good black exploitation movies that didn't make a soundtrack. The only way to see them, hear the music, is to see the movie. For one comes to mind is Spooks Sat by the Door. You'll see, I have that on the wall, but it's just a bootleg reissue.
Right.
And there's some, you know, a few others. But shout out to my man Flesh Gordon, who's always posting the ill joints on Instagram. But this one growing up,
what's some of the key cuts in there that's hot?
I Choose You,
Ooh.
which is you see a lot of people remake that one.
Ooh. Outkast, what up?
Outkast, you know, it's so soulful. Jake One and them did a remake of it. But the cut of all cuts
is what?
Brother's Gonna Work It Out.
Brother's Gonna Work It Out. You like that one?
Man,
Brother's
that is a
work
Chicago
it
dance floor staple. When we was growing up, you threw that on, the dance floor got packed. And the intro, the guitar, do do do. Say, man,
yeah.
ain't nobody's running me out of my business. You really don't understand.
You gotta get rid of that.
This also it starred Roger Mosley from Magnum P.I.
And don't forget the incredible greatest comedian that ever lived,
Richard Pryor. I think that was a star move. Oh, he said, if you're going to kill me now, because I ain't no track star. I ain't running nowhere.
You know, he ad-libbed almost his whole script.
And also, during the production, one of the pimps had got killed. One of the Frank, I forgot his name, but they give a shot at the beginning. And they had to move the production, finish the production in Los Angeles.
Right.
That's why the movie kind of takes a abrupt ending. Like some loose ends aren't clear because they had to get off the streets because the Frank Ward, that was his name. The Ward brothers.
Yeah.
But that, and then I have a companion. This one by Eugene McDaniels. This one is kind of weird because when they released the Mac as a VHS in the 80s, they didn't release it with the music from Willie Hutch. They released it with this.
Well, what did they do that for?
I have no idea. I have to do some more research on that, but you get the VHS tape from the 80s. This is the soundtrack.
As this music.
This music instead of this one. So it should have been called the Whack instead of the Mac. Whack, Mac.
Yeah, because the music on this one ain't that tight.
This one,
not dope.
Not dope.
Not dope at all. Bam, the Grease soundtrack. What up?
Tell me more.
Where my Grease heads at? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you may laugh. You may laugh, but you know the songs. You may know the song. You singing them though, because like when I was a kid, man, this was a big deal. Grease was just such a big record.
You were at Thunderbird Crip.
I was, and this record was such a big deal, man. When you was like first, second grade back then in the days, and movie with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and it's a classic record, like you said. All the songs you singing, You Want What I Want, Hopelessly Devoted to You. I mean, this is just a dope listening for that type of music, which is for that type of music that this is like late 50s rock, early 60s rock. And if you're gonna listen to that type of music, this is at its best. Yeah. You don't like that kind of stuff, this is the one to get. And also, just for my drum heads out there, there's a classic breakbeat on this album. Main title song called Grease by Frankie Valli. Got a fat drum break in the middle of the song. And I definitely recommend you pick it up just for a good listen. But my last one is this one right here, Curtis Mayfield, Superfly. One of the best albums ever made, period. But definitely my favorite soundtrack of all time. And to me, Curtis just went in on this album, and this is some of his best work. I mean, as soon as you put the needle on, Little Child Running Wild.
I think my parents went to go see this movie in the movie theater.
You know what I'm saying? And then after that, he comes in with dum, 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 dum,
I'm your
dum,
pusher.
dum. I mean, and then Freddie's dead. Dum, 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 dum. I mean, every song is a banger. Give me your love here, Eddie. You should know better. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Not even that, just some of the dialogue from the movie.
Yes.
If I choke on a chicken bone, Reardon.
But now lay a finger on my pretty head.
Hey, man.
You know what I'm saying? But
That's the American dream now, ain't it?
This is the one, and this is my favorite soundtrack of all time, my number one. That concludes this edition of Everything OG, the soundtrack edition.
Well, we're going to have to do a part 2 because there's so many more, man, that I want to touch on.
We'll have to.
But
you know what I'm saying?
It's just to get you started, get you introductory, get you digging,
Yes,
pique your curiosity. And,
And once again, my name is Deviant the Digger, Mr. Everything OG.
I'm Building Block, the B-Double, B-Dub. You can catch us on Instagram, showing off our collection.
Yes, sir.
And, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and keep us, show us you're interested, and we keep coming with more episodes.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace. I'm saying too much.
My first pick is this right here. You know what I'm saying? Is yo, edit this out. What's up my phone going on?
Turn it on silent, man. It's movie theaters, man.
It's gonna be some the bloopers. Now, but here we go right here. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to do these kind of things right now.
Yeah.
Because the music was so incredible in the movie. It really carried the movie because it wasn't Prince's acting.
But Morris Day though,
that carried the movie.
Him and Jerome.
Yeah. Morris Day killed it.
But that was
And Galt McDermott is the guy that did the Hair soundtrack.
Yeah, him and 2 other guys.
Yeah. James Rado and Jerome Ragney.
Oh, wow, you knew their names.
You know what I'm saying? But actually, this is well, I got the names right here. But